Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Friday, April 8th, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES right now. Still trading within a clear range throughout most of the week. For the most part, we talked about how prices would likely chop around once it reached the 2061s and start to build out a range here. Overall, given the current uptrending market, pullbacks are still to be defended until proven otherwise, and that pattern will likely change upon a violation and a hold below 2009. So far, still more of the same. Not really much to report on the ES. Nothing super actionable at this time with regards to a swing trade or position trade. But looking at the intraday time frame here, one thing we can see is that price did indeed drop from our 2061s here and dropped all the way back down to value and then down into 34.35. That was our plan here early in the trading room, and you see that came to fruition and then some. Got into 2026s. Now here's what I find interesting is that when price pushed below 34 significantly, it closed back above 34s. And to me, yesterday at the closing report, that implied that we would likely see a move back up towards 61s. So already we've seen an overnight move back up. I would say right now would be kind of today is kind of the inverse of what happened yesterday for the most part. We've already seen a rejection of prices at the previous close, very similar to what we saw here and down. Then we chopped around. Here's a rally. We're chopping around. I think overall what we're going to see is the first pullback could be defended for a walk all the way back up toward 58 to 61. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Here is 5-day VPOC 20, 40, 75. So a pullback into this zone could offer an opportunity to buy this thing and push this much higher. Failure to hold 20, 40, 75 opens up a big retest back at 2034, and I think that area still wants to be defended by bulls for continuations higher. All right, taking a look at crude oil. Here's a look at crude oil. This one has surprised me with its strength back above 37.65, and then now above the previous month's close. So we were looking for some sort of bounce here. We got the push down. We were looking for a bounce back to our zone here, and then we were looking for bears to defend. And it was a very indecisive day here where bears defended on top, bulls defended on bottom, and now we're seeing a squeeze and a continuation back through the previous month's close. So right here, this is a big time reversal off of this HBN, which implies a move back up toward perhaps the center point of the key range. That's going to be 40 evens. So right now we're in a steady uptrending market, and if we look at the intraday time frame for crude oil, what you'll see is we had a really good idea that this range right here could lead to a big squeeze back up. But what we've seen here is a rejection off of 38.30 and a pullback, which has fueled a push back through 38.30. Remember, 38.30 is a very important key level because that is the bottom of the key range from the previous period of time here. So right here, late March, we formed that key range, 41.90 to 38.33. That's the bottom. So right here, prices pushing back above the bottom of that range, 38.33. So that implies we could move into 40.12, which is the midpoint of that range. So basically reestablishing price back above 38.30, acceptance above that level opens up 40.12. That's the idea. Failure to see acceptance above this area could rotate price back to value, where it would remain bullish as long as price remains above 36.55. Okay, taking a look now at gold. Here's a look at gold futures. We talked about gold being pretty much dead in the water right now. I think it's only a matter of time before we see expansion from this distribution range. We have a very narrow range over the last couple of weeks, which could lead to another squeeze back up. But it's like gold is allergic to 1270s and above. So if price gets above 1270s, that could be an opportunity to look for a fade that could result in a final expansion opportunity outside of this range. So we're going to look for further trading range behavior until expansion occurs from the distribution range. Now, if we take a look at the NQ, this one's forming a very tight range on the week, basically holding the midpoint of the previous week's range and also just defending right off the previous week's high price. And basically, that's the range right there. So a very narrow range, which could lead to expansion in the upcoming week. Again, the current trending market implies that we could see another push down that could slingshot us back up into 4,600. At some point, A failure to see acceptance above 44.40 could open up a move and a big time retest of 43.55, which is the major pivot in the charts, and that's the longer term level right there that bulls need to defend. Otherwise, we likely see a mark back down. So taking a look at the intraday time frame for the NQ, what you'll see here is that prices kind of rallied higher off the previous session's close. Pushed higher, has shifted overnight VPOC up, has taken 5-day VPOC bid. That's all bullish. If we kind of zoom out of this chart a little bit, you'll notice that yesterday what we talked about was how prices were being rejected above the previous week's high price right here. It did happen Monday, it happened early Thursday, so that implied a move back down. We got it. We also talked about a potential move between these two lows, so between 44.40 and 44.60, that gave us 50, and we got to move into that zone. So our targets were completed on the way down, and now you see that the initial rally back up has already begun. I would say again, the first major pullback after the open could be a buying opportunity for a continuation back toward the previous week's high of 45.29. All right, that's it for now on the analysis end. If you want to join me at the close today at 3 p.m. Central, use the Join Me code PivotBoss, and we'll talk some markets as we head into the upcoming week. All right, take care, trade well.